Hello my dear viewers and also my dear students, welcome to Kcse Mathematics Paper 2 for the year 2018. And my take in this particular paper is always good to note the question and also the topic from which it is being tested from. So that's always my take, and that will give you an easy way of dealing with a particular question. So I want you to stay tuned as we begin. We start with the section 1, and you have question 1, and this particular question comes from topic on further logarithms. And given that 2 log x squared plus log of root x is equal to k log x, so we need to find the value of k. So in this particular question, what I do believe is that you already have the idea of laws of logarithm, and therefore we can be able to rewrite this equation in a certain way. So this can be written as log of x squared, again we square it, plus the other one can be written as log of x raised to a half. The root sign, which is the square root sign, can be written as raised to a half, will be equal to log of x raised to k. The same equation, applying the laws of logarithm, whereby if we have log of a plus log of b will be the same as log of ab. That is addition which leads to multiplication law. So for this one can be written as log of, so this can be the same as x into bracket x raised to power 4, then times the other one is x raised to a half, close the bracket, will be equal to log of x raised to k. Then on both sides, left hand side, right hand side, we have log, so we can cancel log on both sides, therefore we shall have x raised to 4 times x raised to a half will be equal to x raised to k. So in the left hand side, since the base are the same, then we can add the powers since it is multiplication. So that's the laws of indices, whereby we add the powers. X raised to power 4 plus a half will be equal to x raised to power k. So 4 plus a half, that will be now x raised to power 4.5 will be equal to x raised to k. Since the base are the same, we are going to equate the powers. If we equate the powers, therefore k will be equal to 4.5 or 4.5, whichever will be accepted. So that's how we do question 1. Then we move on to question 2. Question 2, from the look of the question itself, it comes from the topic of formula and variation, but particularly in a certain section we shall see it. So the question is, a variable p varies directly as t cubed and inversely as the square root of s. When t is equal to 2 and s is equal to 9, p is equal to 16. Determine the equation connecting p, t and s. Hence find p when s is equal to 36 and t is equal to 3. So we have quantities or variables. We have p and also we have t and also we have s. So the first situation is that p varies directly as t raised to 3 and inversely as the square root of s. So this gives us a joint variation. So this is a joint variation. So, and inversely as the square root of s. Now we need to introduce an constant value. So we shall have p is equal to k, which is a constant value, times t raised to 3 all over root s. So in this situation, we have been given when t is equal to 2, s is equal to 9, and p is equal to 16. Therefore, we substitute into this equation to get the constant value k. So p is 16 will be equal to k times t is 2, so 2 raised to 3 all over s is 9, so square root of 9. This will be 16 will be equal to, we have k times 2 raised to 3, that is 8. Then square root of 9 is 3. So k will be equal to, multiply both sides by 3. So we shall have 16 times 3. Then we divide through both by 8. Therefore, by 8 1, by 8 2. So 2 times 3. So therefore k is equal to 6. Now the equation connecting p, t and s now will be p is equal to, that will be 6 t raised to 3 all over square root of s. So this is the equation connecting the three variables p, t and s. Therefore, now we have been given, we find p now when s is equal to 36 and t is equal to 3. So what will be the value of p? So p will be equal to, now 6 times t is 3, that will be 3 cubed divided by the square root of s, which is 36. So p will be equal to, now we have 6 times 3 cubed, that is 27 all over square root of 36, that is 6. So by 6 1 by 6 1. Therefore p will be equal to 27, and that is the value of p. So we have determined the equation connecting. So this is the equation connecting p, t and s, and also we have found the value of p given s and t. So that's how we are supposed to do question 2. So we move on to the next one. Question 3. So from the look of things, this question came from topic on commercial arithmetic 2, that is in form 3. Now, as per this question, Asia invested some money in a financial institution. The financial institution offered 6% per annum compound interest in the first year and 7% per annum in the second year. At the end of the second year, Asia as 170,130 shillings in the financial institution. Determine the amount of money Asia invested. So we can be able to see that Asia invested for 2 years, but we can see the rate is not the same. In the first year it is 6% per annum. In the second year it is 7%. But we note that total amount after the 2 years will be given by principal amount plus the interest, whereby interest is normally given by principal amount times the rate times time all over 100. But in this case, we don't know the amount that he had invested, so we can say let P be the amount invested. So if P is the amount invested, then in the first year we expect the amount to be the principal amount, which actually that was the amount invested, plus now that amount invested times the rate, and in our case in the first year the rate was 6 times 6 times 1 all over 100. So this will be the same as P plus, so this is 6P over 100, which is 0.06P. If we add them together, we get 1.06P. That was the total amount invested in the first year. Then we get to the second year. So amount invested in the second year will be, now that will be in the second year, which will include that part which was also invested in the first year, the total amount. So this will be now the principal amount now in the second year will be 1.06P plus now the interest earned in the second year, which will be the principal amount, which is 1.06P times the rate in the second year is 7 times 1 times 1 all over 100. So we end up getting 1.06P plus this 1.06P times 7. Then we divide by 100. Using a calculator, you should get 0.0742P. Therefore, we add the 2. We have P and P, so we can add the 2. We shall get 1.06P plus this value. We shall get 1.1342P. So this was the total amount. Is actually equal to the total amount. At the end of the second year, Asia has 170,130 shillings. So this value is equal to this amount. So 1.1342P is equal to 170,130. So we divide both sides by 1.1342. So we shall get, so using calculator, so the amount invested will be, actually use your calculator, you'll get exactly 150,000 shillings, and that was the amount in Asia invested in the financial institution. So that's how we do that particular question. Then we can move on to the next question, which is number 4. Question number 4 is actually tested from topic on 3-dimensional geometry, which is Form 3 work. So the figure below represents a wedge ABCDEF. EF is 10 centimeter, then angle FBE. This angle is 45 degrees, and the angle between the planes ABFE, ABFE. This is the plane, the slanted plane, and ABCD, the ground one. So that angle, and this is the angle, which is 20 degrees. So we need to calculate length BC. So this is the length we are required to calculate. Correct to 1 decimal, please. So let's begin and work out this particular question. So we are required this length, and also we have been given this angle is 20 degrees. So that makes the plane ABFE and ABCD. So this is the angle which makes the two planes, between the two planes. So we need to get BC. And how are we going to get BC? Already we have the information that we have been given. So one thing we need to note is that at this particular point, if you look at plane ABFE, at this particular point, this is 90, also this is 90, this is also 90 degrees, and it is 90 degrees. But now in this case, this is 45 degrees. This 45 degrees, this is 90, therefore this angle will also be 45 degrees. If that is the case, then EF and FB will be equal. So BF will be 10 centimeter. If BF is 10 centimeter, then we can be able to get the value of BC. So in our case, BF is 10 centimeter. So now we need to get BC. So also at this particular point, it is 90. So BC, so we have cosine 20 degrees. So cosine 20 degrees. Now this will be our hypotenuse. So this is 90 degrees. As per the diagram, it's actually 90 degrees. So we are going to use SOHCAHTOA. So we know BF and we need BC. So we use cosine is adjacent of hypotenuse. So cosine 20 degrees will be equal to, so in our case, BC is adjacent over BF, which will be the hypotenuse. This is 70 degrees hypotenuse. So BC is equal to BF cosine 20 degrees, but BF is 10 centimeters, so 10 times cosine 20 degrees. So cosine 20 degrees using a calculator is 0.0 9.9397. So multiplied by 10, we have 9.397, and that is centimeter. But you need to be very careful. The question requires we give correct to one decimal place. So BC will be 9 point. So the digit preceding coming after 3 is more than 5, so we round up, so this will be 4. So 9.4 centimeter to one decimal place. You are going to miss a mark for not giving to one decimal place. We move on to the next question 5, and this topic concerns simplify square root of 54 plus 3 root 3 all over root 3. So we need to simplify completely, and if you are going to simplify, the first thing we need to make sure that the denominator doesn't have the root sign. So in this case we need to, in other words, we need to rationalize the denominator or eliminate the root sign. So if that is the case, we have to multiply the numerator and the denominator by square root. So in this case we multiply by root 3 over root 3. In other words, we have not changed anything. Root 3 over root 3 is the same as 1, so but we need just to multiply by root 3 over root 3. So this will be root 54 plus 3 root 3 multiplied by root 3 all over, the denominator will be root 3 times root 3. So multiply each. So from here we have, this will be root 54 times root 3, then plus we have 3 times root 3 times root 3 all over, this is root 3 times root 3. Next step, here we have the same as 54 times 3, so root 162 plus the other one, root 3 times root 3 is the same as 3. So in other words, we have 3 times 3. 3 times, this will actually be, in other words, if you understand indices, root 3 is the same as 3 raised to a half times, the other one is 3 raised to a half. We had the powers, which will be 1, so times 3 all over this, the denominator will also be equal to 3. So 162 can be written as, now this will be equal to 162 is the same as 81 times 2, so plus this is 9, 3 times 3 all over 3. So this can be written as square root of 81 times square root 2 plus 9 all over 3. Fine. Square root of 81 is 9, then times root 2 plus 9 all over 3. We can divide it through by 3, so this will be 9 root 2 over 3 plus 9 over 3. So we shall end up getting by 3 1 by 3 3, that will be 3 root 2 plus 9 over 3, which is 3, and this is our answer. So that's how you're supposed to do it. Or you can also give it as, if you factor out 3, it will be 3 to bracket root 2 plus 1. Either of these can be accepted. We move on to the next question 6. Question 6 involves circles, chords, and tangents, and also part of it we have area. So in the figure below, AB is a tangent to the circle. AB is a tangent to the circle at A. Center O and radius 6 centimeter. The arc AC subtend an angle of 60 degrees at the center of the circle. So we need to calculate the area of the shaded region correct to 1 decimal place. So let us begin. So we have OR, mean OA or OC, that is the radius 6 centimeter, and AB meet at right angle with the radius. So this angle here, it is 90 degrees. If that is the case, and also we know this angle, and we are required to find area, the area of the shaded region correct to 1 decimal place. So the first thing we need to get is the length AB. We need to get length AB. How can we get length AB? And since we know this is 90, so it's a right angle. OAB is a right angle. So this angle here, it's opposite. The side is opposite the angle. And we know OA. So we can use now this hypotenuse. We have the opposite adjacent. So using SOHCAHTOA, so you have opposite of adjacent, so tangent. So angle tan 60 degrees will be equal to opposite, and in our case opposite is AB, all over adjacent is OA, which is 6. So AB will be equal to 6 tan 60 degrees. So using your calculator, 6 times 60, we get 10.39 centimeter. It's not good to round off to 1 decimal place, but the final answer is the one we are going to give to 1 decimal place. Otherwise, we are going to incur some errors. Therefore, we already know AB. Now we can get the area of triangle, OAB, which will be given, this is 90, so we can use a half base times height. So in our case, we have a half base is now AB, which is 10.39 times 10.39, then times height, which is 6. Using calculator, we should get that 1.17 centimeter squared. Then we need to get the area of the sector, OAC, and that will be theta all over 360 times pi r squared. So in our case, theta is 60 degrees, so 60 over 360 times pi is 22 over 7 times radius is 6, that will be 6 squared. So using calculator, you should get 18.86 centimeters squared. Therefore, area of shaded region will be equal to the area of the triangle, which is 31.17 minus the area of the sector, to get area of the shaded region. Area of the sector is 18.86. So if we subtract, we shall get 12.31. But the question requires to 1 decimal place, so this will be 12.3 centimeters square. That is to 1 decimal place. Now we move on to question 7. Question 7 comes from the topic of quadratic expression and equations. And the question is, we use completing the square method to solve 3x squared plus 8x minus 6 is equal to 0. Correct to 3 significant figures, and that is 3 marks. So, in this question, a student needs to know, when using completing square method, the coefficient of x squared. In other words, this is the form of quadratic equation, and therefore when using completing square method, we have to make sure coefficient of x squared is 1. So that means if a is not equal to 1, then we need to divide it through by value of a. And in that case, now since we have 3x squared plus 8x minus 6 is equal to 0, and the coefficient of x squared is 3, therefore we divide it through by 3, and that will be x squared. We divide it through by 3, we get x squared plus, here we divide through by 3, we get 8 over 3 x, and here we get 6 divided by 3, we get 2, will be equal to 0. Therefore, now we need to take minus 2 to the right hand side, and in other words, what must be added to make it a perfect square? So we have x squared plus 8 over 3x, then plus certain value. So in this case, we take minus 2 to the right hand side, it will be positive 2. So whatever must be added to the left hand side to make it a perfect square must also be added to the right hand side, and whatever must be added is normally a half the coefficient of x squared, a half coefficient of x, we square it. So that is what must be added, and in this case the coefficient of x is 8 over 3, so a half of it, so a half of 8 over 3, the value we square it. Also, this value must be added to the right hand side, that will be now 8 over 6, that will be 8 over 6. We also have to add it to the right hand side. So from here we have x squared. Now we have make it a perfect square. This will be, let me just rewrite it again, plus 8 over 3x plus, now this in simplified form will be 4 over 3x. At this particular situation, I don't want the student just to square it but leave it the way it is, because we are going to write it in there as a quadratic identity in the perfect square form. So will be equal to 2 is plus, but for the right hand side this is 4 over 3, just the simplified form, no problem. Now Now in the left hand side we have make it a perfect square though, so we can write it as x plus, this is 4/3 to bracket squared will be equal to 2 plus, now 4/3 squared will be 16/9. So we move on. This will be x plus 4/3 to bracket squared will be equal to 2 plus 16/9. We get 34/9. Therefore, we need to get the value of x. We find the square root on both sides. And if we find the square root on both sides, we shall have x plus 4/3 will be equal to plus or minus square root of 34/9. So, we move on. We take 4/3 to the right hand side. We have x will be equal to 4 minus 4/3. Since it is positive, we take it, it becomes negative, plus or minus. This will be square root of 34 over square root of 9 is 3. Now, from here now we have x is equal to minus 4/3 plus or minus. Using a calculator, square root of 34 is 5.831 all over 3. So to get the value of x, now this will be either be minus 4/3 plus 5.831 over 3, or the other case will be minus 4/3 minus 5.831 all over 3. So using a calculator, minus 4/3 plus 5.831 over 3, we shall get 0.6103, or the other case will be minus 4/3 minus 5.831 over 3. Using a calculator, we get minus 3.277. But the question requires us always at the end ask yourself, have you answered the question? So here we need to give the answer to correct to 3 significant figure. So the value of x will be, to 3 significant figure will be 0.610 or minus 3.28. And that is the answer. We move on to the next question, that is question 8. And question 8 comes from the topic of rates, ratio, proportion and percentage. And the question is, 3 workers working 8 hours per day can complete a task in 5 days. Each worker is paid 40 shillings per hour. Calculate the cost of hiring 5 workers if they work for 6 hours per day to complete the same task. That is 3 marks. So, the first thing we need to know, we have 3 workers, and in that case, so that is the quantity workers. Then we also have the time in hours that they are working, and also the other thing is days. So you can either decide to use the ratio method or use the unitary method. But let me decide to use the ratio method. So in our case, we have 3 workers. So we have 3 workers working 8 hours per day, can complete the task in 5 hours. So in a day they are working 8 hours. Then each worker is paid 40 shillings per hour. Then we need to calculate the cost of hiring 5 workers if they work 6 hours per day, and for how long to complete the same task. So in this case, we need to ask how we are going to compare workers and hours, and also then workers and days. So if workers have increased in the ratio 5:3, then we ask ourselves, days will decrease in what ratio? So if we increase the number of workers, we expect they take less days to complete the same task. So days will decrease, and it will decrease in the ratio 3:5. So this is what we are going to use in our final calculation. The other case, now we compare hours and days. If hours have decreased in the ratio, the ratio is 6:8, then will days increase or decrease? If we reduce the number of hours working in a day, we expect to take more days to complete the same task. So days will increase, and will increase in what ratio? So 8:6. Now, so in this case, we have this ratio and this ratio. That's what we shall use in our calculation. Now we find the number of days, and number of days will be, now we take 3/5 times 8/6 times, now we have 5 days. So by 5 1, by 5 1, by 3 1, by 3 we have 2, by 2 1, by 2 4. So it will take 4 days. It will take 4 days. Now, have you answered the question? Calculate the cost of hiring 5 hours. So the cost of hiring 5 workers, cost of 5 workers will be equal to the number of workers times they're working 6 hours in a day, times 6 times the number of days, and then they are paid 40 shillings per hour times 40. So we work out 5 times 6, that is 30, times is 4 times 40, that is 160, 3 times 16, that is 48, then 0 0. So that will be the cost of hiring 5 hour workers, 4,800. So question 9 comes from the topic of graphical methods. So the table below represents a relationship between two variables, x and y. We've been given the table and the values of x and y. So part of the question, we are required to, on the grid provided, this is the grid we have been provided with, to draw the line of best fit. And then part B, we use the graph to find the value of y when x is equal to 0. Now, we need to draw the axis. And before we draw the axis, we need also to check the maximum value of x, and the minimum is up to 6. That will be on the x-axis. And then we have y-axis. The maximum value is 13. Let me count the boxes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, and since this is 13, so for the y-axis, one big square represent 2, so that it can fit well. For the x-axis, no problem, one big square will represent 1 unit. So I will have to draw the fifth. So from here, that is the axis, y-axis, then x-axis, so this is y-axis, and this is x-axis. So for x-axis, we start from 0 all the way to 6, 0, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 7. So that is enough. Then for the y-axis, we have said to one big square to represent 2 units. So we have then 0, 2, 4, 6. That's at the intervals of 2, 2, 2. So and then 8, 10, 12, 14, then 16. That is enough. Therefore, we need now to actually plot the points. So we are going to start with the first one. So when x is 1, then y is 3.5. So in our case here, we have 3 is at this particular point, then 3.5 will actually be at this particular point. So that's where you plot 3.5. 1, 3.5. Then when x is 2, y is 4.5. So we know that 5 is in between here, so 4.5 will be at this particular point. So 4.5 will be this point there. Then when x is 3, y is 8. 3, y is 8, so at that point. Then the other case, when x is 4, 8 is, and y is 8.5, x is 4, then 8.5, so 8, then we have 9 at this particular point, then 8.5 will be at this point. So that's the point. Then the other case, when x is 5, y is 11. 11 is actually at the middle there, so we have it here. We plot the mark at that point. Then the other case, when x is 6, y is 13. 13 is at this point here. So we move horizontally, and where x is 6, so plot the mark at that point. Therefore, we need now to have use the ruler, and then we draw the line of best fit. We require line of best fit. So we're going to use a ruler. And this ruler we place clearly there so that we are able to draw a line of best fit. Now, the other thing I just have to say here, as we draw the line of best fit, we must ensure that it balances on both sides. I've just placed this ruler, but we can be able to see a point here. There's another point here. So the line of best fit must balance on both sides. Both sides. So this point and the other point. At least for this point. Now we have this point here, and also we have this point, such that above, if we draw a line at this point, so there'll be line above and two points above and also 2 points below. So let me just draw it. So at least we have actually drawn. So this distance away from the line and also this one. So such that we have balanced. There are 2 marks or points below the line and 2 points above the line. So that is the line of best fit. So that is the line of best fit. Now, use the graph to find the value of y when x is 0. So when x is 0, so now we have x is 0. Value of y, now that will be where the line cuts the y-axis, and that will be y-intercept. So the y-intercept, so y will be equal to, so for our case here, we have two units to represent that one big box, and there are 5 small squares. So 5 small squares will represent what? If 5 division is equivalent to 2, what about 4 divisions? Will be equivalent to what? So this will be 8. 4 times 2 divided by 5. So that is 8 over 5. And in that case, it shall be, or in other words, it is 2 divided by 5. 2 divided by 5. So in that case we shall get it is 1.6. 1.6. So y will be 1.6. So that is the answer. We move on to question 10. So question 10 is on trigonometry 3, that is form 4 work. State the amplitude and the phase angle of the curve. So we have been given this trigonometric equation, y is equals to sine of 3 over 2x minus 30 degrees. So what we need to know, they are the components of the trigonometric graph of this sine graph. So y is equal to the general form, the sine graph y is equals to k sine bracket bx plus or minus theta. So in our case here, if our graph of sine curve is plotted, therefore k is the amplitude. That's what we need to know. And then theta is the phase angle, and also b, for us to get the period is given by b. Let's give the period. Now for our case, we have to compare the two. We have this the given equation, and we have the other one. That's actually the graph given. So we need to find amplitude. So in our case, amplitude will be, which is k, will be 2. The other case, to get the phase angle, so in this case, phase angle will be 30. Actually, it will be positive. Minus theta is equal to minus 30. Therefore, that is phase angle 30 degrees. So then we move to the next question. Question 11 is on statistics 2. The mass in kilogram of 9 sheep in a pen were 13, 8, 16, 17, 19, 20, 15, 14, and 11. Determine the quartile deviation of the data to max. So the first thing we need to do is to arrange this data given in ascending order. Arrange in ascending order. Ascending order. So if we arrange in ascending order, that means we start with the smallest value linked to the largest value. So the smallest value is 8. So we have 8, followed by the next smallest value is actually 11. So we have 11. Next is we have 13. The next value 14. Next is 15. The next value is 16. Next value 17. We also have 19, and finally 20. Once we do that, and the other thing we need as a student learner, we need to know that to get quartile deviation, quartile deviation is given by Q2 minus Q1 all over 2. Is actually we get the average. So how are we going to get Q1? That's actually if you look at the number, there's 9 of them, so the middle term is actually 15. Actually that's the middle term. If we begin from the left hand side, we count to the right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. From the right hand side, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have this as the middle term, and in that case, to get Q1, it's actually below the middle term. Then we get the average of the in between. That will be the second and the third one. which will be now 11 plus 13, we get the average, so this will be 24 over 2, which is 12. And also to get Q2, that is the upper value, that will be between 2, 1, that is the value of Q2, which will be 17 plus 19 over 2. We get the average, 17 plus 19, that's actually 36 over 2, which is 18. Now, we can be able now to get the quartile deviation, so which will be 18 minus 12 all over 2. 18 minus 12, that is 6, divided by 2, so we end up getting 3. So that is the quartile deviation of the data. We move on to question 12, and question 12 comes from the topic of latitudes and longitudes. The question is, the position of 2 points C and D on the Earth's surface are being given theta, which is north 10 degrees east, and theta 30 degrees east respectively. The distance between the 2 points is 600 nautical miles. Determine the latitude on which C and D lies. We need to find the latitude on which C and D lies. Now, the first thing, just allow me just to make a sketch of this, though it is not necessary if you have mastered the globe, but let me draw it. So this is a globe, and therefore we have the equator, 0 degrees, and I've been given 2 positions. Let me consider this position. Let me take this as the Greenwich meridian, 0 degrees, and therefore we have another one which is 10 degrees east, and also another one which is 30 degrees east, and therefore the two are on a certain latitude. On certain latitude, we have C is on latitude C, and the other one D. So we need to find the latitude, in our case now that is actually towards the north, theta degrees north. So we need to find at what latitude they actually lies. So that's what we are actually required to find this angle. Now, the longitude difference between of the two towns or two positions, that is longitude difference, will be given as 30 minus 10, which is actually 20 degrees. Then to get the distance between the 2 points, distance is normally given by longitude difference times 60 cosine theta. That's the formula, so it's good to master the formula and also how to derive it. Then the distance between the 2 points we have been given is 600 nautical miles, which will be equal to, now longitude difference is 20, so 20 times 60 cosine theta. Remember, theta now is our latitude difference, and that's what we are after. Therefore divide both sides by 20 times 60, we shall get cosine theta is equals to 600 all over 20 times 60. So we end up getting cosine theta is actually, that will be a half. So to get theta, we get the cosine inverse of a half, which is theta will be 60 degrees. Therefore, latitude difference, latitude and difference is 60 degrees north. So that is the value of theta. Next, question 13. Question 13 is a question on vectors too. In the figure below, vector OP is given as P vector, OR, R vector, PQ to the ratio of QR is 1:2, and PS is equal to 3PR. So we need to express QS in terms of P and Q vector. So first we make use of the details given. OP is P vector, then OR is R vector, PQ to the ratio of QR is 1:2, and then PS is equal to 3PR, and in our case PR, we can see the division given 1:2, so in total that is 3, so PR times 3, so PS will be 9, so 9 minus 3 values, so RS will be 6. That is so important. Therefore, having that information, now we can be able to find now QS. So for us to get QS vector will be given by QS. To move from Q to S, we can pass through QO, and that is now the negative direction, so minus QO, then plus OS vectors. So we need to find in the first case we need to find OQ, and to get OQ vector will be we make use of the ratio theorem. Just consider triangle OPR. So making use of the ratio theorem, whereby in this case OP vector, that's actually OP vector, that is OQ vector will be given by 2/3 of P vector, then plus 1/3 of R vector. So that is so important. So our OQ vector, that will be 2/3 P vector plus 1/3 R vector. Use of the ratio theorem, that's so involving, and it is so important. So that's OQ. Therefore, to get QO will be the opposite of this, and the other information we need is OS vector, OS vector. So to move from OS, we can pass through OP, then from PS, and OP is P vector, OP, that is P vector, plus PS. From the information we have, PS is 3 of PR, and in our case we can be able to get PR, so that will be 3, and PR is the same as PO, then OR. PO minus PO vector plus OR vector. This will be P vector plus 3 PO, that will be minus P vector plus R vector. So we open the bracket, we are going to have, this will be minus 3P vector, then plus 3R vector. We factor, we just add the like vectors, P minus 3P vector, that will be minus 2P vector plus 3R vector. In other words, the same as 3R vector minus 2P vector. Now from there, now we can substitute into the value we have here. Now Qs, that's what we need to get. Now our case, minus QO minus QO, so it's actually the opposite of this, which is 2/3 P vector plus 1/3 R vector, then plus OS. OS is 3R vector minus 2P vector. So open the bracket, minus 2/3P vector minus 1/3 R vector plus 3R vector minus 2P vector. Collect the like term vectors. So we have, so in this case now we have minus 2/3 P vector minus P vector minus 1/3 R vector plus 3R vector, minus 2/3 minus 2, that will be minus 8/3 P vector, then minus 1/3 plus 3, that will be plus 8/3 R vector. So we can just rearrange it and write as 8/3 R vector minus 8/3 P vector. You might decide to leave it at that particular point, or you just factor out 8/3 and you have 8/3 into bracket R vector minus P vector, and that is it. Next question, question 14, topic on probability. In a certain firm, there are 6 men and 4 women employees. 2 employees are chosen at random to attend a seminar. Determine the probability that a man and a woman are chosen. So, we have 6 men, we have men, and also we have women. In that case, we have 6 men, 4 women. So, probability that man and woman are chosen, or woman and man, in any order. That's accepted. So will be the same as, so probability of choosing a man. Remember the total number of employees are 10. 6 plus 4, 10. So probability of having a man will be 6 out of 10, and the probability of getting a woman will be 4. And remember that 2 employees are chosen at random. So for the first choice, it is 6 out of 10. Now the remaining 9. So again we choose women, there will be now 4 out of 9. That's the first option. The other way we can, maybe we are choosing at random. Now it will start with a woman, so it will be 4 out of 10. After choosing one woman, one employee, we need to choose another, so there are remaining 9. So now in this case, now the next probability is choosing a man, which will be now 6 out of 9. So we end up getting, this will be 24 over 90 plus this will be 24 over 90. So you work out, we get 8 over 15. If you find that so difficult, you can use a tree diagram. Probably this will work well for some. So we have men and women. So for the first chosen, so the probability of choosing men will be 6 out of 10, and the probability of choosing women will be 4 out of 10. So if we go for the second round choosing at random, the second chose. Now in this case, now there are remaining 9 after choosing one, so there are remaining 9. So the probability of choosing men will be 5 out of 9. Remember, we have already chosen one man, so the remaining 9 employees, so that will be 5 out of 9. Probability of choosing a woman will also be 4 out of 9 in this case. The other case, the first choice, we have chosen a woman. Now probability of choosing a man, we have not chosen in the first case, so they remain 6 men, so that will be 6 out of 9. Probability of choosing a woman in the second round will be, now in the first round we chose 1, now the remaining 3, so there will be 3 out of 9. So these are the probability space. First case, man, the other case is man, woman, then the other case woman, man, the other case is woman. So what we are so interested in our case, probability of a man and a woman chosen. A man and a woman, this is one of the probability and this is one of the other probability. Now probability of woman, man, woman, or woman, man. So this will be, so in our case we have 6 over 10 times 4 over 9, and the other case is 4 over 10 times 6 over 9. This will be 24 over 90 plus 24 over 90. We end up getting, working it out, get 8 over 15. So that's the probability of choosing a man and a woman. Next is question 15. And this question 15 comes from the topic of matrices and transformation. Under transformation T, 4 minus 3 to 3, triangle OAB is mapped onto triangle OA prime B prime with vertices O is 0, 0, A prime 18, 0, B prime is 18, 6. Find the area of triangle OAB. So, in this case, just allow me to make a sketch of the triangle, though it's not necessary. So, assuming this is a triangle OAB. O is 0.00, A is 18, 0, and B is 18, 6. So we are required to find the area of this triangle, and in this case we have just been given the points, the coordinates of those points. So the first thing we need to get is the determinant, and we have been given the transformation of triangle OAB. Now it is mapped. It's actually mapped to a triangle O prime. So meaning that we still have this as the main point. So only A and B have been mapped to a new position. So we need to get the determinant of the transformation matrix. And to get the determinant of the transformation matrix, which is also similar to area of image, and the image is O A prime B prime all over area of object, and in our case the object here is triangle OAB. Remember, point O is fixed. Therefore, to get the determinant of the transformation matrix, so product of the elements in the main diagonal, 4 times 3 minus product of elements in the other diagonal, 2 times minus 3. So this is 12 minus, we have minus 6, so this will be 18. That is the determinant. Now to get the area of triangle OA prime B prime will be, so in our case here, from O to A, the change in X coordinate is 18. X coordinate is 18, Y coordinate doesn't change. Then AB, we have change in X coordinate, there is no, but change in Y coordinate is 6 units, and yet it is 18 units. So area of this actually prime, so that the area of OA prime B prime is a half times 18 times 6, and we get by 2 and by 2 3, 18 times 3, that is 54 square units. Therefore, area of OAB, already we have now determinant, area of OAB will be area of OA prime B prime, that is the image, over determinant of the transformation matrix. So area of or a prime b prime is 54 and the determinant is 18. So we get 3 square units. So that's how we are supposed to do the question. Then question 16, and this is the last question in section A. On integration, find the value of k if the integral varies from 0 to 2 of kx cubed minus 3x squared is equal to 16. So the first thing we need to do, we substitute the value of the upper integral minus the value of the lower integral. So that will be k. So first we integrate this value. So x, the power of x, we add 1, we divide by the new power. So k, that x, if we add 1, it will be power 4, divided by the new value of power, which is 4, then minus 3 x power 2 plus 1, which is 3, divided by the new value power. So everything from 0 to 2 will be equal to 16. So let me just simplify this. That is kx power 4 over 4 minus x cubed 0 to 2 is equals to 16. So we start by substituting the value of the upper limit. So when x is 2, so k 2 raised to 4, that is times 16 over 4, minus 2 raised to 3, that is 8, minus, when x is 0, we substitute that value times 0 raised to 4, 0 over 4, minus 0 raised to 3 will be equal to 16. So all of these values is 0. Therefore we have 16 divided by 4, that is 4. So 4k minus 8 minus 0 is equal to 16. Therefore 4k is equal to 16 plus 8, 24. And therefore k will be 24 divided by 4. So which is 6. So the value of k is 6. That is the end of section A or section 1.